Think about yourself. Always let me tell you something that might just change your life today. Start thinking about yourself. Yeah, I said it, and I don't care who looks at you crazy for it. We've been raised to think that loving ourselves and choosing ourselves first is selfish. But let me drop this on you. It ain't selfish, it's necessary. Because if you don't take care of you, who will? If you don't love you, how in the world can you expect anybody else to? We live in a world that'll drain you dry if you let it. Folks will take your time, your energy, your peace, and then act like you the problem when you finally say enough. You ever been there, giving and giving until you got nothing left? I mean, you out here helping everybody, cheering them on, fixing their mess. But when you need a hand. Crickets, see, that's the moment you wake up. That's when God starts showing you it's time to shift the focus back to you. Listen to me, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you running on fumes, what you think you giving people? You ain't helping anybody by neglecting yourself. You tired, broken, frustrated. Then you wonder why you snapping on folks or feeling unappreciated. That's because your soul is on E. Now let me break something else down. You set the tone. You show people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. If you constantly put yourself last, guess what? That's exactly where they gon' keep you last in line, last in priority, last in respect. And I'm here to tell you, you got to stop apologizing for putting yourself first. You hear me? You got dreams, visions, goals, they matter. You matter. So when you choose to say no, when you decide to rest, to say, I'm not available for that drama today, that's not selfish, that's called wisdom. Let me be real with you. God didn't create you to be a doormat. He gave you purpose, passion, and power. He didn't make you in his image for you to be walked all over. He gave you breathe today so you could walk in your purpose, not get trampled trying to save people who won't even save themselves. Start loving yourself out loud. I mean it out loud, not behind closed doors, not in silence. Love yourself publicly. Set boundaries. Take breaks. Celebrate yourself. Stop waiting on somebody else to clap for you. Be your own biggest fan. Let the world adjust. Your dreams, they need your attention. Stop putting them off for later. Because of everybody else's emergencies, later might not come. That book, that business, that degree, that peace, you deserve all of it. And the only way to reach it is to make yourself a priority. People might call it selfish. Let 'em talk. Because while they talking, you growing. While they gossiping, you building. While they judging, you evolving. And one day they'll be asking how you did it. And you'll smile and say, I finally started thinking about me. Let's not forget something important. Even Jesus took time away. He stepped away from the crowds, found quiet places, and prayed. If the Son of God needed time to himself, what makes you think you can go none? Stop without crashing. Learn to say, I need this moment for me. Some folks will guilt trip you. They'll say, oh, you changed. Well, you were supposed to. Growth ain't for the comfortable. It's for the courageous. And the truth is, sometimes thinking about yourself means outgrowing people who expect the old version of you. So today, make a promise to yourself. From this day forward, you won't come last in your own life. You won't ignore your needs just to keep the peace. You will think about yourself always, because when you're whole, you show up better for everybody else. And let me close with this right here. You deserve the same love you keep giving away. You are not wrong for choosing yourself. That's not pride, that's healing, that's power, that's God saying, now you get it. So go ahead, think about yourself, and don't let nobody make you feel guilty for it. Self-preservation is not selfish. It's survival. Let me get this out the way right now. There's nothing wrong with looking out for yourself. Some folks will try to make you feel guilty for that, like you doing something evil just because you decided to finally think about your own needs. But truth be told, that's not selfishness, that's survival. And if you don't do it, nobody's gonna do it for you. People will take and take and take from you until you ain't got nothing left. They'll drain your time, your energy, your spirit, and then ask why you ain't smiling no more. You know why you tired? Because you been running on empty while everybody else been living off your fuel. But you ain't a gas station. You a soul that needs rest too. The world will convince you that saying no is wrong. That drawing a line is cold-hearted. But let me tell you something. Boundaries ain't walls, they are bridges to peace. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. If you keep giving when you got nothing left, you ain't helping nobody. You just enabling their laziness while breaking your back. You ever seen somebody burn themselves out trying to make everybody else happy? That's a miserable life, and what's worse, half the time, them same folks you running yourself ragged for. They don't even notice, or worse, they expect it, like it's your job to sacrifice your peace for their comfort. Nah, that's got a stop. You got a responsibility to yourself, before the job, before the church group, before the family cookout. You got a show up for you. Because if you broken down, how you gon' help anybody else? You ain't no superhero. Even heroes need rest days. Self-preservation means knowing when to step back, knowing when to say, I'm not okay and I need a minute. It means understanding that your mental, emotional, and physical health are non-negotiables. If you ignore them long enough, your body will force you to stop. And it won't be pretty. And don't let guilt creep in. Guilt is a liar. It'll whisper in your ear that taking time for yourself is wrong. But let me ask you something. How can you pour into others if your own well is dry? You got nothing to give if you're always running on stress and fumes. The truth is, the stronger you stand up for yourself, the better you become for everyone around you. Because when you're whole, you're powerful. When you're at peace, you operate with wisdom. And when you're rested, you bring clarity to situations that chaos can't touch. Stop thinking you gotta be everything for everybody. That's not your assignment. Your assignment is to become everything God created you to be. And you can't do that if you always in crisis mode, always in survival mode, always the first one to jump when somebody else calls. You gotta ask yourself, what do I need today? That question matters. It matters more than what they want from you. Your needs matter. Your peace matters. Your purpose matters. And if that means disappointing some folks to preserve yourself, so be it. You ain't got to explain yourself to everybody either. Sometimes the best answer is silence. You don't owe folks a TD talk on why you're resting, healing, or unplugging. Just do it. Your peace don't require permission. And here's what happens when you start choosing yourself. You start feeling free. You wake up and you ain't heavy no more. You smile and it's real. You laugh and it ain't forced. That's what self-preservation does. It brings you back to life. You start hearing yourself again. That inner voice that got drowned out by the noise of yes, and sure, and I'll be there. You start listening to what you need, what your soul craves. And the more you listen, the more strength you gain to stand tall. Then something beautiful happens. People start respecting you differently. They might not say it out loud, but they notice. They notice the glow, the peace, the confidence. And those who really love you, they'll understand. The ones who don't, they were just using your kindness for their convenience. Self-preservation is not selfish. It's the foundation of a powerful, healthy, purpose-driven life. You deserve to live whole, not hollow. You deserve to be filled, not forgotten. You deserve to choose you, so do it every day without guilt, without shame, without looking back. You can't pour into others if your own cup is empty. There comes a point in life where you realize something crucial. You can't give what you don't have. You can't bless folks, support folks, carry folks, if deep down you're running on fumes. That's not strength. That's silent suffering dressed up as responsibility. Too many people out here wearing smiles that hide burnout. They show up, they help, they serve, but on the inside, they're tired, frustrated, and unfulfilled. That's what happens when you keep pouring and pouring into everybody else, and you never stop to refill your own cup. You out here trying to feed folks with crumbs. You praying for others, but never praying for yourself. You listening to everybody else's problems, but ain't told nobody about the storm you facing. That's not noble. That's dangerous, because eventually empty people collapse. And here's the problem. We confuse being selfless with being self-destructive. There's a difference between giving from a place of love and giving from a place of exhaustion. One builds you, the other breaks you. One fills both souls, the other leaves one dry and the other dependent. You can be a good person and still say, not today. You can be loving and still protect your peace. You can want to help people and still step back to breathe. That don't make you a bad person. It makes you wise. And wisdom will take you further than people. Pleasing ever will. Now I know what you thinking, but they need me. Sure they do, but guess what? You need you too. You need your mind intact. You need your body rested. You need your spirit aligned, because when you're whole, you can give from a place of strength, not survival. And when you stop trying to save the world with an empty tank, something amazing happens. You get clarity. You see who's really there for you. You notice the folks who only come around when they need something. You realize who's just taking and who actually pours back into you. Let's be honest. Some of us are addicted to being needed. It makes us feel valuable, but that ain't true value. Real value is knowing that you matter even when you're still, even when you're resting, even when you say, I got a focus on me right now. You ever try pouring from an empty glass? Nothing comes out, and that's where resentment starts to grow. That's where bitterness creeps in, because you gave so much for so long that now, even when you want to be generous, you're tired, you're angry, you feel invisible. You gotta flip that script. You gotta learn to fill your own cup first and not just once. You need to make that a regular habit, a part of your lifestyle. Whether it's prayer, quiet time, reading, walking, therapy, whatever refuels you, do it unapologetically. Because when you full, you bless folks naturally. You don't even have to try hard. Your joy becomes contagious. Your peace becomes magnetic. Your wisdom flows without effort. That's the power of giving from a place of abundance, not depletion. And don't get it twisted. Taking care of yourself doesn't mean you don't care about others. It just means you finally realized you're human. You finally realized that a doubt light can't guide anybody. You finally realized that pouring into yourself is the first act of true service. Stop waiting for a breakdown to make a change. Don't let the doctor be the one to tell you you need rest. Don't let your family say you ain't been yourself lately. Catch it before it catches you. Rest now or break later. That's the choice. So the next time someone tries to guilt you into doing more than you have the energy to give, remind yourself of this truth. You can't pour from an empty cup. You gotta fill up first. That ain't selfish. That's responsible. That's powerful. That's necessary. You are no good to anybody if you lose yourself in the process of helping everybody else. So fill your cup first. Then let it overflow, and whatever spills over, that's what the world can have. But the cup is yours. Protect it. Refill it. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Loving yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. The way you love yourself is the loudest instruction manual you'll ever give the world. You don't have to say a word. Your actions, your posture, your self-respect, It all tells people exactly what they can and can't get away with when it comes to you. That's why self-love ain't optional, it's foundational. If you treat yourself like you ain't worth much, people will believe you. If you walk around always second, guessing yourself, apologizing for existing, accepting bare minimum attention and calling it love, they'll hand you scraps every time and expect you to be grateful. You teach people how to handle you by how you handle yourself. If you honor your time, your peace, your worth, they'll either step up or step off. Either way, you win, but it starts with you choosing you, fully, boldly, and without apology. Some of y'all waiting on people to give you the love you won't even give yourself. You want them to affirm you, but you don't affirm yourself. You want them to commit to you, but you won't commit to your own growth. You want them to treat you like royalty, but you keep showing up like a servant in your own life. That's not humility, that's spiritual neglect. You can be kind and still carry yourself like you're valuable. You can be gentle and still walk like you know who you are. When you love yourself out loud, you stop begging for attention. You stop explaining your worth. You start living like you believe in you. And let me tell you, that kind of self-love don't come from compliments or Instagram likes. That comes from doing the work. That comes from facing your demons, healing your trauma, looking in the mirror and saying, I'm not perfect, but I'm worthy anyway. That comes from deciding, I'm enough, even if nobody else claps. Now here's the truth. Some folks won't like the new you, the you that sets boundaries, the you that doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't break your back just to be accepted, and that's okay. Because when you start loving yourself right, you stop needing validation from people who don't even value themselves. That's when everything changes. Your relationships shift. Your circle gets tighter. You stop tolerating chaos. You stop entertaining disrespect. Because once you experience the peace that comes from self-love, you don't go back to confusion and insecurity, not willingly. You ever seen someone glow different after they start loving themselves? They move different, they speak up, they walk away from stuff they used to cry over. They protect their energy like gold. That ain't arrogance, that's alignment. That's a person who finally decided to choose themselves. Let me say this, you deserve the love you keep trying to give everyone else. The tenderness, the patience, the compassion, it belongs to you first. It's not selfish to pour that love inward. It's smart. Because when you're filled, what you offer others comes from overflow, not lack. You are setting the tone every single day by how you speak to yourself, how you show up for yourself, how you protect your peace. If you're always running after people, always saying yes, when your soul is screaming no, don't be surprised when people start thinking you're a convenience, not a priority. But when you love yourself, you move like you matter. You say, I'm not settling for half effort. I'm not explaining my worth. I'm not negotiating with disrespect. That energy teaches people real quick. Either rise up or get out the way. Self-love is not about perfection. It's about permission. Giving yourself permission to take up space, to rest, to say no, to grow, to heal, to want more. And once you give yourself that, the world follows your lead. People treat you like you treat you. So look in the mirror today and ask yourself, what kind of love am I showing me? Because if it ain't strong, if it ain't consistent, if it ain't respectful, don't expect anyone else to fill in the gap. This is your responsibility, your life, your standard. Start now. Start small if you have to. But start. Speak life over yourself. Celebrate yourself. Protect your peace. And let the love you show yourself be the blueprint for how the world interacts with you. Love yourself so loud that anything less feels foreign. Your dreams deserve your full attention. You ever notice how quick we are to show up for other people's dreams? We'll cheer them on, support them, lose sleep helping them build, promote, hustle, and we do it gladly. But when it comes to our own dreams, we hesitate, we doubt, we delay, we put them on the shelf like they can wait until next year or next decade. That's got to stop. Your dream ain't a side dish, it's the main course. It deserves your time, your focus, your sacrifice, and your grind. Not just what's left over after you've given everyone else the best of you. And if you don't give your dream your full attention, it'll sit there collecting dust while you build somebody else's vision. You got talent, ideas, purpose, all of that inside of you, and you're letting distractions, opinions, fear, and guilt keep you from pursuing what you were created to do. That's not humility, that's neglect. You owe your dream more than that. It's easy to say, I don't have time, but we make time for what we value. You make time for scrolling. You make time for drama. You make time for people who don't pour back into you. So don't tell yourself the lie that you don't have time for your dream. What you really don't have is alignment. When you stop treating your dream like a hobby and start treating it like a calling, everything changes. You wake up with purpose. You move with intention. You stop waiting for permission. You stop asking folks if it makes sense. Because when a dream is in your spirit, it don't have to make sense to nobody else but you. Now don't get it twisted. Your dream won't always look pretty in the beginning. It might come with rejection. It might come with silence. You might feel like you're failing, but listen to me. It's all part of the process. Growth don't look like success at first. It looks like struggle. That don't mean you stop. That means you dig in deeper. There's people walking this earth right now who are waiting on your dream to come alive. They're waiting on your book, your business, your voice, your idea. But they'll never see it if you keep putting everyone else first and putting yourself on the back burner. You know what's heartbreaking? Dying with your dream still inside of you, getting to the end of your life and realizing you were too busy, too afraid, too distracted to do what God put in you to do. That's a pain I wouldn't wish on nobody. You gotta protect your dream like it's your child. Feed it, guard it, speak life over it, defend it from doubt. Especially your own, because if you don't fight for it, who will? If you don't invest in it, why should anyone else? Let me tell you something powerful. Your dream is your responsibility, not your spouse's, not your parents', not your pastor's, yours. And once you take ownership of it, you stop waiting for support and you start building anyway. That's when momentum shows up. And yes, people might not get it. They might talk. They might laugh. But don't expect small-minded folks to understand big visions. Let your results do the talking. Let your consistency do the explaining. Your breakthrough will be louder than your critics ever were. You don't need perfect conditions to start. Start with what you have. Start from where you are. God doesn't bless procrastination. He blesses movement. So move, even if it's slow, even if it's messy. Your effort honors the gift. You can't keep putting off your dream for someday. Someday isn't on the calendar. Someday becomes never if you don't wake up and decide, today is the day I put me first. Because when you chase your dream, you're not just fulfilling yourself. You're giving others permission to chase theirs too. So block out the noise. Eliminate the distractions. Get focused like your future depends on it. Because it does. Your dream is waiting. Don't make it wait any longer. Give it your full attention. Give it your all. Give it you. You don't have to shrink for anyone. Own your light. There's something powerful about a person who walks into a room and doesn't shrink. Who doesn't dim their light just to make other people comfortable. That kind of presence ain't arrogance. It's alignment. It means you've accepted who you are and you're done apologizing for it. But too many of us got used to playing small. We were taught not to be too loud, too proud, too much. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that shining too bright would make other people feel uncomfortable, so we learned how to hide. And that hiding became our habit. You show up in spaces where you should be celebrated, but instead you try to blend in. You downplay your gifts. You water down your voice. You fake humble to avoid judgment. But let me tell you, you weren't created to disappear. You were created to shine. If God put light in you, who are you to cover it up? If he gave you boldness, brilliance, wisdom, creativity, how dare you silence that just because somebody else ain't ready to see it? That's not humility, that's fear, and fear will keep you average when you were made for greatness. The truth is, people who are insecure in themselves will always be intimidated by someone who is sure of who they are. But that's not your problem to fix. Your job is not to make them feel okay with your confidence. Your job is to own your space and let them adjust. And here's the thing. When you shrink, you suffer. Because deep down, you know you're not being fully you. You feel fake, you feel out of alignment, and no amount of people pleasing will ever fix the ache of living beneath your potential. You were born to take up space. You were born to speak boldly. You were born to stand tall, not because you think you're better than anybody else, but because you finally realized you're not less than anybody either. That's what owning your light looks like. And guess what? Your light ain't just for you. Somebody's in a dark place right now, and your courage, your story, your gift is the flashlight they need. But if you keep dimming yourself down, they stay lost, and you stay frustrated. Stop asking for permission to shine. Stop waiting for someone to say, you're allowed to be great. You already got the permission slip. You woke up breathing. That's your sign. That's your evidence. So walk like you know you belong. And don't apologize when the light in you makes shadows uncomfortable. That ain't your fault. Some folks will try to guilt you into playing small just so they can feel big. Nah, shine anyway. Shine respectfully, but unapologetically. When you start walking in your full power, the right people will show up. People who celebrate your light, not compete with it. People who say, I see you, and mean it. But you'll never find them if you're still trying to blend into rooms that were never built to hold your brilliance. It's time to stop shrinking and start stretching. Stretch into the fullness of who you are. Stretch into the version of you that speaks up, that stops over-explaining, that shows up early, dressed for success and ready to lead. That's the real you, and it's time the world saw it. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to stand out, and if that makes people uncomfortable, that's their journey, not yours. You don't have to be smaller for others to feel bigger. Let your light shine and let it expose the greatness in others too. So go ahead, stand tall, speak loud, show up. Let your light hit every corner of the room like you belong there, because you do. Don't shrink. Don't dim, don't delay. Own your light and let the world adjust to your brilliance. Protecting your peace is part of protecting your destiny. Peace is priceless. It's one of the most valuable things you can own, and yet so many folks give it away like it don't cost a thing. But when you finally realize that your peace is connected to your purpose, you start guarding it like your future depends on it, because it does. You can't step into your calling with chaos in your spirit. You can't hear clearly from God when your mind is cluttered with noise. Peace is not some luxury you get when everything's perfect. Peace is the foundation that keeps you grounded when everything's falling apart. Every time you protect your peace, you're telling your destiny, I'm making room for you. Because when your heart is calm, your decisions get wiser, your energy gets stronger, your vision gets clearer. You stop reacting to mess, and you start moving with intention. But here's the problem. Too many people are addicted to drama. They live in chaos, and they don't even know it's killing them. They keep people around who drain them, conversations that poison them, environments that suffocate them, and then wonder why they feel stuck. Let me say this, not everybody deserves access to you. Just because someone has a history with you doesn't mean they get to hijack your peace. You're not obligated to stay in toxic cycles just because you love somebody. Love them from a distance if you have to, but don't lose yourself in the process. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your destiny is hit the mute button. Silence the noise, log off, block the number, walk away, not in anger, but in wisdom. Protecting your peace doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're focused. And let's be real, peace doesn't just happen. You gotta fight for it. You gotta be intentional. You gotta set boundaries and enforce them. You gotta say no without guilt. You gotta let folks be mad at you without running to fix it. You gotta be okay with disappointing others if it means honoring yourself. Because every time you say yes to something that disturbs your peace, you're saying no to your growth. You're saying no to your purpose. You're saying no to the future version of you that needs stillness to grow. And here's the thing. Peace isn't just quiet. Peace is clarity. Peace is waking up without dread. Peace is walking into your house and feeling safe. Peace is looking in the mirror and liking who you see. And if that's not your reality, then it's time to make some changes. You have a right to peace. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to earn it. You just have to protect it. Whether that means saying less, doing less, or cutting ties. Do what you need to do. Because when you protect your peace, your spirit thrives, and you'll notice something else. Once peace becomes your standard, you lose tolerance for nonsense. You don't entertain chaos for fun anymore. You don't argue just to prove a point. You value quiet over conflict. That's growth. That's healing. That's elevation. Some folks will say you've changed. Let them. You were never meant to stay stuck in dysfunction just to make others feel comfortable. You're allowed to outgrow noise. You're allowed to outgrow people. You're allowed to outgrow anything that puts your peace at risk. So take your peace seriously. Guard it like your destiny depends on it, because it does. Don't negotiate it. Don't rent it out. Don't hand it over for likes, approval, or temporary company. Peace is sacred. Protect it at all costs, because when you live in peace, you move in power. You don't chase, you attract. You don't panic, you plan. You don't beg, you choose. And that kind of energy, that kind of life, that's what happens when you make your peace a priority. Thinking about yourself first isn't selfish. It's survival. There's a lie a lot of us were raised on, that putting yourself first makes you selfish. That if you prioritize your needs, your healing, your goals, somehow you're a bad person. But let's be clear. Thinking about yourself first doesn't make you selfish. It makes you sane. It keeps you alive. It keeps you from running on empty in a world that's constantly trying to drain you. See, if you don't think about you, who will? If you don't protect your time, your energy, your boundaries, your health, who's gonna do it for you? The same folks you keep burning yourself out for. The same people who only call when they need something. Come on now, you can't pour from an empty cup. And let's be honest, some of you are dehydrated spiritually and emotionally because you've been giving and giving and giving, and nobody thought to pour back into you. That's not love, that's a leak, and leaks need to be fixed before you drown. You gotta start putting you first, not last, not when everything else is done, not after they're okay, first, because when you're good, everything around you is better. Your kids get a better version of you, your work gets your clarity, your relationships get your fullness, not your frustration. Self-prioritization isn't vanity, it's vital. Your peace, your sanity, your joy, your dreams, they matter. You matter, and when you make yourself a priority, you're not rejecting others. You're rescuing yourself. Don't wait until you break down to finally care about yourself. Don't wait until the doctor says, you've got to slow down. Don't wait until you're mentally exhausted and emotionally bankrupt. Start now. Start with the small stuff. Say no to what drains you and yes to what restores you. Some people will guilt you for choosing you. Let them. That guilt they try to put on you, that's manipulation. You've got every right to cancel a plan, to take a break, to rest, to heal, to do nothing if that's what your spirit needs. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for doing what's necessary to stay whole. You have one body, one mind, one spirit, and if you break it trying to keep everybody else happy, nobody's gonna rebuild you. People will move on. They'll find somebody else to lean on, and you'll be sitting there in pieces, wondering why you didn't choose you sooner. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you don't love others. It means you're wise enough to realize that you can't help them if you're not whole. It means you're done being a martyr for people who wouldn't lift a finger for you in return. It means you know your worth. Let me tell you something. Healthy people put themselves first. Successful people put themselves first. Whole people put themselves first. Because they understand that when you're strong, you can serve better. When you're rested, you can lead better. When you're loved, especially by you, you show up different. The world will keep pulling at you. Life will always have demands. But if you don't draw the line somewhere, you'll look up and realize you've been living everybody's life but your own. That's not purpose. That's a prison. You deserve to wake up and feel like you matter to you. You deserve to look at your calendar and see time blocked off for your dreams, your peace, your joy. You deserve to live a life that reflects your values, not just your responsibilities. So today, make the shift. Say to yourself, I come first. Not because you don't love others, but because you've spent too many years putting yourself last. Not because you're selfish, but because you're finally wise enough to see that survival depends on self-love. And don't let nobody shame you for it. You're not too much. You're not wrong. You're just done playing small in your own life. From now on, you walk in your worth, protect your peace, and put yourself first, always. Let me tell you something as we close this message. You are not wrong for choosing you. You are not wrong for thinking about yourself, for protecting your time, for chasing your dreams, for walking away from what no longer serves you. You are not wrong for finally realizing that self-love isn't selfish, it's survival. You've spent too many years living in reverse, caring for everybody else while your own spirit sat empty. You've let guilt, tradition, people, pleasing, and fear hold the steering wheel of your life. But no more, not after today. This ain't just motivation. It's a mindset shift. It's a wake-up call. It's a declaration that from this day forward you will show up for you the same way you've always shown up for everybody else. You will give to yourself with no apology, no shame, and no hesitation. Because when you finally start thinking about yourself, really thinking about your health, your peace, your dreams, your boundaries, you start living on a whole new level. You start walking in clarity. You start choosing joy. You start attracting better because you've become better. Don't wait for a breakdown to choose yourself. Don't wait until you're drained, bitter, or broken. Do it now. You're worth that kind of love. You're worth that kind of respect. You're worth that kind of investment. You matter and you come first. So let this be your shift, your new standard, your new rhythm. From now on, no more shrinking, no more delaying, no more apologizing. From now on, your energy goes where it grows. Your time goes to what builds you. Your heart stays protected. Your dream stays fed. Your mind stays at peace. And when they ask what changed, you tell them finally started thinking about myself. Always, that's not selfish. That's wisdom. That's growth. That's survival. And that's freedom.